Hi guys, and welcome to the studio. My name is Allison Jensen and I'm the owner of Orange Easel School of Art here in downtown Liberty, Missouri. It is mid-March and St. Patrick's Day is this weekend. I've got an invitation here that you can set up for the kids that will hopefully work their creativity, their science, their math, and their engineering skills. So we're going to be building some leprechaun traps. Now if you go onto Pinterest and you Google leprechaun traps, you're going to find some beautiful examples of a leprechaun trap that is probably entirely conceived by an adult. What we're going to talk about today, notice I do not have any children with me, but we're going to talk about how to set up an invitation where your kids are the ones that actually get to problem solve and come up with the trap. So we're going to go over two things. One we're going to talk about is the actual invitation itself. It's the materials that you can use and how you as an adult would set this up for a child, whether you're a teacher or a parent. And the second thing we're going to talk about is why we do this type of invitation versus one of those Pinterest projects. All right, so let's get started first. Let's talk about kind of what we've got going on here on my table. Now, I don't have any kids here with me today. They have evening classes. Right now, they're all in school. But this is an invitation that I can set up for just about any preschool or grade school age kid. And the beauty of an invitation like this is that I don't really have to have an idea of where it's going to go. I don't have to solve the problem for them. I don't have to figure this out. That's their job. What I've got here is a bunch of materials that they can use. So my job as an adult is strictly to provide the materials and the space. For you, one of the great things about not having a preconceived and already pictured idea that your child is going to make is that you can use anything you have. So some of the things that you can use, number one is going to be kind of like recyclables, right? So if I've got an oatmeal container here laying around. We always have tons of these, right? Tubes, whether they're the paper tubes from toilet paper or the paper tubes from paper towels or wrapping paper. I've got an egg carton here. I've got a box that's actually already been cut up because we used it for something else. So any type of recyclable that you have, you can put out in this invitation, and you don't have to already know what it will become. You just need to offer it. And the next thing you need are all of the auxiliary items that you maybe have laying around your craft closet or even the trash pile, right? So I've got some things here. I've got some sticks that I actually walked outside and picked up. I've got some rainbow straws because everybody knows that leprechauns like rainbows. I've got some just random assortments of ribbon that I pulled out of my stash. I chose green since this was a St. Patrick's Day invitation. And I've got some rainbow buttons that I pulled out of our sewing stash. It's not even all the ones that we have, but I pulled out the rainbow ones. I happen to have a bunch of these. Everybody knows what these are, right? A bunch of wine corks that somebody donated to us. I add to the pile sometimes too, but we have tons of these and they're fun to build with. They're easy to glue on. So I've got those, and then, what do you do with old CDs? I'm not really sure, but they do make fun rainbows. And I thought this could be something that people could use in their invitation. Now, if you had popsicle sticks, if you had wooden skewers, if you had pom-poms, like rainbow pom-poms would be so much fun. If you had gold coins, or if you wanted to put pennies out, whatever you have laying around that you think would be fun either to construct or to decorate a leprechaun trap, you could put out for your kids to use. And you don't have to already know what they're going to do with it. You just have to provide it. Now, when setting up an invitation like this, we have to keep in mind that it needs to be appealing and it needs to be easy to access for the kids. And I love these trays. We buy them from the dollar store. They're just the chip and dip trays, and they're a great way to put out a good selection of materials, right, in an attractive way that invites a child to come and play with it. And I've got these kind of for some vertical height in here. So as an adult, whether you're a teacher or a parent, part of your job in an invitation like this is making sure that you have set up the invitation so that it is inviting for your child. Okay? And however you choose to do that. I love these little plastic containers, but if you don't have that and you just want to put down a piece of butcher paper or a book about leprechauns or whatever you want to do to invite them to do that. So we've got some of our supplies going on here. The most important supply, and the one that I would not do without, is a hot glue gun. This is critical, in my opinion. Now, yes, you can use tape. Yes, you can use tacky glue. Yes, you can use Elmer's glue if you really had to. But your child will be 100 times more successful if you teach them how to use this tool for building. We have boxes of these, buckets of them. We use a ton of hot glue in here. And for building and constructing, there is nothing better than hot glue because it dries so quickly and it is very forgiving in your building methods, right? It doesn't really have to fit together to stay together. So definitely invest in a hot glue gun. We love our low temp ones. We just buy them off of Amazon. Low temp mini guns with low temp glue from the dollar store usually. And just teach your child to make sure they don't touch the tip. The glue, although it does not feel good when it touches you, it does not burn you. The tip does. And so teach your child to use it properly. Do it with supervision, and your child will be very successful at making all sorts of different projects. Okay? So we've got all of this. Now, other things you could use if you want to get out the paint so that they could paint their trap when they're done. If you wanted to get out the glitter so they could glitter it, you go right ahead. Okay? Anything you want, but you don't have to. The beauty of this project is it's not going to be a probably Pinterest perfect, beautiful project. But the problem solving that happens when they are building their trap, as they are talking through their trap, how will I catch the leprechaun? Will it fall in? Will a trap fall on? What is the engineering behind it, right? That is where the beauty is. It's not in the finished product. So you've got a bunch of different examples here on things that you can use. Now your role and why we do this. We already said one of your roles is setting this up. Your second role is how you facilitate it. And getting out of the gate with the invitation is crucial. So when you set it up, if your child is not used to this type of craft or art invitation, they might be a little confused and say, what am I supposed to do, right? That could be kind of tricky. So as an educator, I would say your best thing to do if your child is not sure what to do is to sit down with them and make one beside them or make them with them, but let them drive the project. So you can problem solve what is a leprechaun? What is a leprechaun like? What might trap a leprechaun? What bait should we use? How would they stay in? And those are the types of questions that you can ask. If you can facilitate that, and maybe you make one side by side with them. Maybe you make one with them. But I will caution you to make sure adults and teachers move at their pace. Okay? So we have to kind of step right beside them. Don't push them. Don't trail behind them. Step right beside them and help them along with this process. Eventually, I promise the kids will just run with it once they get used to this type of project. But it may take a while if they're used to that step-by-step that they get in school or that they get in some other art setting where they have to follow the rules and that is the correct way to do it. We've conditioned a lot of our children that is what art is and that is what craft is and that is what projects are. And so this is really hard for them. Be very sensitive to that and help them along in the process. Some kids are going to be like, I got this. And then you can just disregard that section. Now, you've got your leprechaun trap built. Now what? Right? This becomes maybe the more artsy side of it. How do you decorate your trap? How do you camouflage your trap? How do you make it so that it's enticing for the leprechaun to visit? And those are questions that you can do and really get into the art and the decorating of the trap. Okay? So I hope this is a fun one for you and that you get into this type of art project. Because this type of art project, this is learning. This is creativity. And this is where the magic happens. Thanks, guys. Have a happy St. Patrick's Day.